Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. is available and streaming now on Netflix. It is the fourth installment in the Beverly Hills Cop franchise. I was definitely looking forward to it, and it did not disappoint. Here is the official synopsis according to Tudum, which is apparently a publication by Netflix that I guess writes about Netflix movies and shows and stuff like that, which is pretty smart. And I literally just found for the first time as I'm recording this, and it's spelled Tudum. Tudum. After that sound that Netflix makes when you turn it on or press play on something, which is pretty dope. But here is the official synopsis. Detective Axel Foley is back on the beat in Beverly Hills after his daughter, Jane's, life is threatened. She and Foley team up with a new partner, as well as old pals Billy Rosewood and Taggart, to turn up the heat and uncover a conspiracy. And as we like to do here on the Spun Today Podcast, let's shout out the writers, because if I don't do it, who will? Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. was written by Will Beal, Tom Gormican, Kevin Eaton, and based on the characters by Danilo Bach and Daniel Petrie Jr. Shout out to each and every one of the writers that put this screenplay and movie together. So if you're listening to this and you don't know what Beverly Hills Cop is, you're showing your age, or maybe I'm showing my age. But it was one of the dopest, definitely R-rated comedies from the 80s. 1984, shout out to 84, the year I was born. That's when the first movie came out, starring Eddie Murphy, who is a Detroit detective. His character's name is Axel Foley, and he became a cop after having a troubled childhood, did some illegal things, as they allude to throughout the movie. And one of his boys that he used to be in the streets with came to visit him after many years and winds up getting killed in front of Eddie Murphy's apartment. He had mentioned to him that he went to Beverly Hills, he had a job over there, and he just came to Detroit to visit. And Axel, being a detective and his old friend just getting killed, wound up going to Beverly Hills and, finding the folks that killed him and bringing them to justice, so on and so forth. And, he's a cop from Detroit. Beverly Hills is a completely different scene. They're like buttoned up, by the book type cops. Eddie Murphy's style was, or Axel Foley's style rather, was much different. He wasn't afraid to like bend the law and, break a few rules as long as the ultimate good is being done, which is catching the bad guys. And it was just a great franchise. All three movies I really enjoyed. The first one, of course, better than all the other ones, but still all of them great to watch. So when I heard this one was coming out, I was excited in a similar way as I was excited for Matrix 4, which also did not disappoint. It definitely checks off the nostalgia box. There was so many like callbacks to the earlier movies, like when he first goes back to Beverly Hills, or when he first goes to Beverly Hills and he's like looking around and seeing the folks like walking around in spandex like in the first movie, and like Michael Jackson jackets, and he's just like laughing and cracking up to like what a culture shock it is in a way. There was a scene like that when he's driving around Beverly Hills in this one. He sees like guys putting on makeup while they're driving. This is also a callback to the second one, I believe, with Billy Rosewood's character, played by Judge Reinhold, having a scene where he cocks a shotgun and says, "You can't have too much firepower." That was definitely a callback to the second movie, when he was like a gun and knife nut. Sergeant Taggart, or now Chief Taggart, in the fourth movie, being, butting heads with his wife and always complaining about being married and shit like that. Billy has the scene of how he had in the first one, where he's surrounded by bad guys and they're like all shooting at him, and him, being the by the book Beverly Hills police officer, just stands up and says, "Stop, and all of you put down your weapons," and they'll just like keep shooting his ass. He has like a scene similar to that in part 4. So it was good like that, with that reminiscing and take you back to the old movie. They ratchet up the tension in the film by Eddie Murphy having a daughter, Jane Saunders, played by Taylor Page, that we learn he's estranged from. He spent years without talking much, if at all. He apparently did it for her own good, how he moved the mom, or divorced the mom, but like moved them out to Beverly Hills because some folks in Detroit threatened to kill his family. But they definitely had that was like one of the arcs of the story, them mending their relationship. Josh Gordon-Levitt is in it, who's dope. Shout out to hitrecord.org. I think he's a great actor. I really enjoy a lot of what he's in. He plays the love interest of Jane Saunders, as well as a detective in Beverly Hills who, again, isn't afraid to break the rules and kind of teams up with Axel Foley to try to uncover the conspiracy of what's going on. Chief John Taggart, played by John Ashton. He, out of everyone in the film, he looks so fucking old. It was like kind of sad to see how old like he looks and Billy looks, and then makes me think of how old I am. Kevin Bacon is in it. He plays Captain Cade Grant, which, spoiler alert, turns out to be like the main bad guy / corrupt cop. And quick aside, Kevin Bacon said what's up to me once. I saw him here in New York. I was doing this volunteer thing through a previous employer on 9/11. You know how they have that like day of service? It was at the Intrepid Museum here in New York, which, for folks who don't know, it's a retired military ship carrier that is full of planes from different eras, planes, fighter jets, and it's a museum, which is pretty dope that you could walk around and, you know, see the different rooms and planes, and really interesting. But I did like a volunteer thing there, and as I'm leaving, Kevin Bacon is getting out of a yellow cab and walking in, and I see folks like looking at him like, oh shit, look, you know, kind of like commotion, but there wasn't like too many people outside. And I actually remembered his name, which in real time I was like surprised with myself. And I was like, hey Kevin. And he looked at me and kind of gave me the nod like, hey, what's up? And kept walking. I was like, oh shit. But yeah, Kevin Bacon's the bad guy in this movie, but he was the good guy that day. My guy Serge was in it, played by Bronson Pinchot. I have no idea how to pronounce his name, but I know him cariñosamente as Balky Baktakumis from Perfect Strangers. Which, by the way, I didn't know that Family Matters, the sitcom, was a spin-off of Perfect Strangers. And I think it went on to becoming, you know, huge. I mean, it did go on to become huge, you know, Steve Urkel and all that. But I think it went on to become so much bigger than Perfect Strangers itself. Definitely different eras, kind of. But I remember watching both Perfect Strangers when I was a little kid, and then Family Matters, you know, when I'm a bit older, but still. And the movie was funny. Eddie Murphy was great in it. He had this funny ass scene with a valet guy who's a black guy at a ritzy country club, and Eddie Murphy goes up to him and he's like arguing with him to like get a car because they're like chasing down the bad guy. And he's like, just give me a key, I'm a cop, and come on, you're my brother, this and that. And they're going just back and forth. Oh, really? You're my brother? You're gonna pay my bills, or if I lose this job, I got a mortgage, I got this, I got that. Then we ain't gonna be brothers, right? And the guy, this lady walks by and says, oh, hi, guess you're Quanto, blah, blah, blah. And then he puts on like a British accent and he's like, hello, Miss So-and-so, have a great day, pip, pip, cheerio. Like, and Eddie Murphy goes, oh, you a code switching nigga, huh? You one of them code switching motherfuckers. That was just hilarious. My guy Luis Guzman is in it. He plays Chalino Valdemoro, which is like the head cartel guy. And he plays him gay, which I thought was an interesting choice. The CEO of Rasta Monster himself. And it was just a fun watch. A fun, nostalgic, worthwhile watch. The only thing where I think they fucked up that I missed that I was waiting for was the iconic Axel Foley laugh. Which, if you've seen the previous movies, you know what I'm talking about. Which Eddie Murphy does it on stage too, I think in Raw or Delirious or both. And they definitely had spots for it. And I was waiting for it in those spots because he laughs, but just laughs in a different way. I don't know if it's that you can't do it anymore or what, but I felt like it was a lost opportunity. They could have like pumped in that laugh, if anything, like in post-production, but it is what it is. But the movie was dope. It was a good watch. It was true to the Beverly Hills franchise, you know, the same type of formula. Fish out of water cop from Detroit goes to Beverly Hills, uncovers a conspiracy that nobody else knew about or sees with his top-notch detective skills, mixed with a bunch of humor and some good action. It's a good time. Beverly Hills Cop 4, aka Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. Streaming now on Netflix. Check it out.